What's up, guys? It's Mama Kate, and I'm going to walk you through how to get Liberated, the Dark Ops calling card where you need to beat Liberty Falls in under 30 minutes. The first thing that I'm doing is bringing in the ASG, and I'm going to activate the Rampage Inducer. A couple of gobblegums that I'm going to use to start off is going to be Perkaholic, Wall Power. I'm going to use that to buy the Wall GS45s, and Hidden Power, that's going to increase my held gun to Legendary. Now, my first objective here is to get to about 7K. So I'm going to keep the Rampage Inducer on with having all the perks. That's just going to help me get as much money as fast as possible. And those zombies spawn in so slow at the beginning that there's really no point not to have it on, especially in those first few rounds. So I went ahead and cleared these zombies up in the motel after I had insta-kill. It just made things easier. I could get extra points while waiting for them. The reason why I want 7K points is to get to the cemetery or the graveyard. That is where it's going to give me one of my first parts of the jet gun. I could attempt to use a Wonderbar, but I figured I would just build the jet gun for you guys. But that is probably the most time-consuming part of this Easter egg. So if you want to try your luck at Box, you can, but Box hates me. So I just went ahead and decided to build the jet gun. As soon as I had the 7K points, I went ahead and bought the GS45s. Just as a note, if you are buying these and you're using that wall power, it will automatically pack-a-punch them. And when you use them, they're explosive. So if you're not using Perkaholic, just make sure you have PhD. Now, I find getting Dennis, the groundskeeper, is the hardest part. So if you're waiting for him to show up, just get kills inside the cemetery, and then he's going to eventually pop out. So as soon as I could get up there, I was waiting for him and then grabbed that key and got the handbrake. The next part that you're going to need is the wheel outside the flower shop. And then I like to use Ether Shroud when I'm solo. My minor augment, I have an extra charge, and then I use a decoy. So if you are not solo, if you have a squad, go ahead and just have someone protect you with a pack-a-punch gun. That makes it super easy. But if you're solo like I was here, I like to use 2 decoys and 2 ether shrouds. So at this point, I'm on round 9, and I just waited until I had 2 ether shroud charges to go ahead and start this. Now, I was hoping I could get away with only using 1 decoy, and I do think if you time it right with your zombie strain, you can. But I try not to buy extra equipment, but for this I needed it. I was almost done, and so I went ahead and popped over to this workbench and bought another decoy for the 500 salvage. So again, if you're in a squad, just have folks protect you. If you're by yourself, I use Ether Shroud and decoys. So once you have this, this is going to give you the water pressure valve. So I again kept the Rampage Inducer on until round 10 or 11. I really wanted to wait for that Mangler to spawn in. Once he drops his Mangler cannon, you can use that to shoot open this electronics store. You can also buy one from the crafting table, but I just don't think it's worth using that salvage, so I never buy it. Just be sure to hit the Mangler's cannon off. Right now we're looking for the dig piles. We're looking for the last part of the jet gun. So once you pick those up, make your way to the hotel and you can then build your jet gun. Now I'm going to show you the 3 parts of the jet gun. We're going to head into the comic book store. The first one is in the ceiling. Since I was in here, I knew I was going to use CITADELLE for the boss fight. So I went ahead and collected all 4 pieces that are located just around this room. Third one's right there on the ledge, and the 4th one is over here on the shelf. And then there is one located outside the motel. You hop on this car and it's just above that sign. Next, I got the one that's on the AC unit. So this is on the rooftop across from the bank. And then once I got that, I hopped onto the van, and this is going to be the second part of the LTG. You can just bring that piece to you. Sometimes people do it from the ceiling. I don't, because I think it tends to glitch out, but it's up to you. And then the 3rd one is here in the church. After that, you'll head back to the bank roof. You'll have all the parts of the LTG, so you can then craft that. Make your way back to the church to grab the canister. You absolutely have to make sure you put that down before you call in your HVT. I have gotten to my HVT and realized I haven't placed it, so make sure you're grabbing the canister and putting it down by the trap. For this next step, all you're doing is guarding the LTG. I like to use the jet gun. Now, a lot of folks ask me how to use it. All you're doing is tapping the jet gun. I think a lot of people hold their triggers down and it uses a lot of ammo. Just do quick little taps and that'll suck in all the zombies. There are 4 spaces, so if you're playing with the 4 squad, just have everybody watch one. If I'm solo, I just look at my mini map and rotate to where the zombies are coming from. There is a free insta-kill back here that I like to grab, so especially if this HVT is an abomination, literally 1 shot and he was already halfway to his health. Make sure to bring him down, and once you start the ether trap, you can kill him inside, and then that will collect his soul in the canister. Take that back to the church. Once you put that into this machine, you're going to get the Strauss counter. Make sure you grab the LTG device again. You're going to need that before the next one. Since I was on this left side, I went ahead and grabbed this machine over here. Now mine is green, so remember, if you get green or red, you're gonna put the machine as the opposite color. So because I got green, I made my machine red. My counter was red here, so I made my machine green. If you get yellow, then it's just going to be yellow. So yellow's the only one that are the same. Red and green are opposite. I bought that entrance to the roof of the bank. I grabbed this Etherella statue, and then here was the last machine that I had to activate. My counter was green, so I had to interact until my machine was red. So just keep those in mind. And once you've done that, you'll get an audio cue and see purple sparks. That'll let you know that you've done it correctly on all 3 and you've cleansed the canister. So you're going to head to the gas station and spawn, and you'll see the canister come up. Pick that up and place it down. Now an abomination spawned in. I didn't want to deal with him while I was worrying about the HVT that I was going to call in, so I took him out, and he dropped a mutant injection, which is huge because we're going to need that for the boss fight. Now once I've done that, you're going to place the LTG, and just like last time, you're going to do a defend stage. Just rotate around, use your LTG, and this part goes pretty quickly. So the second one is going to be a mangler, or it could be reverse if you got him first, so you can get an abomination. I knew he was pretty easy to kill, so I started to damage him and then went ahead and turned on my dark ether trap. All you want to do is make sure you kill him inside there, so his soul will go into the canister that you've put down. And then the final step is putting that canister into this machine, and that's all the setup. So I had enough money to get my pistols pack 2. So at this point I was pack 2 legendary. I grabbed the second to last Etherella statue. She's just on top of the bowling alley. And then for this one, I tried to pull it into the church and I completed it and I turned into Etherella. So this is really great for the first phase of the boss. Some people save it for the last. Honestly, it does not matter. But I turned into Etherella and she is just a domination. She absolutely slays everything. So my squad and I typically use this for the first phase. All you're doing is taking out the manglers. Again, if you want to save her, you can. But once I activated her, I just interacted with the machine. That took me right into the boss fight. So I had all my perks. I was pack 2 legendary and I had a mutant injection. When you get to the second phase, you'll know you're there when you get the max armor power up. You can see mine just floating there in the corner. The next one is going to be a little stronger of a mangler. Now the GS45s do great on this, but a big note of advice is just make sure you have enough money, or a gobblegum that I would recommend could be either like Killjoy to spawn in an insta kill, or a max ammo. So that max cash is going to help. Now, when you complete the second phase, you're going to get a max ammo, but there's nothing worse than running out of money and not being able to refill your pistols. Now, once I got to the third phase, that's an abomination, and this is where I bring in a mutant injection. Normally with the squad, these do pretty well. I was on round 16 at this point, and my mutant did absolutely nothing. So I was playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots with the abomination. Kevin didn't want the smoke. So once I was done, my GS45s took him out pretty quickly. I wish I would have just used the GS45s the whole time, but I highly recommend the mutant injection. Make sure everyone on your squad has one. And if you're going through the prestige grind still, I went ahead and used my unlock on one of the mutant injections pretty early on, but it just depends on you and what you're doing. But you can buy that for 2,500 salvage. You don't have to have Perkaholic to start this, but for me it just made things way easier. I didn't have to worry about it. I had pack 2, all my perks, and tier 3 armor just in case. So those are all my tips and tricks. This is pretty easy to do. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below. If you ever want to play or you need help beating the Easter eggs, be sure to join my Discord. That's discord.gg/MamaK. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and follow along for more Black Ops 6 Zombies content.